So welcome to this video about the things that you should know before you travel to Machu Picchu. And I think these things will help your travel experience, be a lot smoother and less headaches. So this is by far one of the best vacations you will take in a long time, having to do with culture, architecture, and historical concepts. So by far, make sure you do a little bit of homework about Machu Picchu, the meaning of it, things that happen here, and there's plenty of resources on YouTube and websites that you can use in order to get that knowledge beforehand. If you don't, you will still have an amazing time, but it's just nice to know the background before you get there. So let me start off with some global concepts about Machu Picchu. Number one, planning your trip. Now, Machu Picchu, compared to other places, will take a little bit more thought in planning because it's such a specific way to get there. You can't just land and then take a taxi there. There's actually a very protocol, logistical way that you need to follow in order to get to Machu Picchu, and we'll get that when we discuss the specifics about getting to Machu Picchu. But just in general, planning when to go. If you go on the off season as opposed to the on season, you will have a much better experience. And let me tell you about that. So the off season is during the winter in the northern hemisphere. So my trip was in October of 2014, which is winter in the United States, and that is their off season there. Because a lot of people during the summer in the United States want to travel and have vacation, they're out of school, and so that's when you have more people going to Machu Picchu. So why does that make a difference? Number one, well, logically, there's going to be more crowds, more people at Machu Picchu. But just to give you an experience, we had no problem getting tickets when we were there. We were even able to bargain to get cheaper tickets. And so, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of benefits. Now, the other thing, when we got our guide to get into Machu Picchu, we hired a guide, and this guide told us that, yeah, during the off season, when we were there, there's no wait. We actually didn't see any wait. There were people there, but there was no crowds, nothing to the point where you had to wait. During their peak season, however, apparently you have to wait about 2 hours just to get through the front gate to get into Machu Picchu, and another 2 hours to wait for the bus that will take you down the mountain. And so it won't make or break your vacation, but it's just nice to know that if you have that flexibility of traveling in the off season, it can make things a little bit smoother as far as crowds and wait times. Now, the elevation is the next topic I want to talk to you about. So Machu Picchu is not the highest elevation destination you're going to encounter when you travel here. Cusco is actually higher in elevation than Machu Picchu. So just to give you an idea, Cusco is at about 11,154 feet in elevation, and that's about 3,400 meters. Machu Picchu is at 7,972 feet, about 2,400 meters in elevation. So very, very different. So, however, when I went, I decided not to go directly to Cusco and Machu Picchu. I actually took a couple days to get used to the altitude in another town that is in lower elevation. So I ended up going to Arequipa, which is at 7,661 feet, about 2,300 meters in elevation, staying there a couple days, and then making my way to Cusco to Machu Picchu. And I found that was really interesting, just going to a different town, making sure that you don't just go to Machu Picchu, and you will get there, but making sure that this vacation is a little more than just that. So that was my strategy, and it worked out really well. I didn't get any altitude sickness from staying in Arequipa and then going through Cusco to Machu Picchu and then coming back to Cusco for a couple more days. So the other point about traveling here is making sure when you stay in Cusco and in small towns like Arequipa, they're all organized the same way. There's a central plaza, and then things disperse from there. So we decided to book hotels around the plaza, and that was really, really convenient because the only taxi we took was from the airport to the hotel, and then because we were close to the plaza, we were able to walk to all the things that were in the city that we needed to see and hang out at the plaza in the evenings and then just walk to our hotel. So that was super, super nice and convenient. Now, around the plaza, there will be plenty of tour booking organizations. Pretty much everybody wants to sell you a tour. They have ways to sell you tours. And these are legit organizations, but everybody has a permit to sell tours to anything you would want to do. So don't feel obligated unless you find a super good deal online before going here that you need to book a tour. Essentially, at least in the off season, there are plenty of places around the plaza. Actually, one side of the plaza is fully dedicated to people selling tours. And so, yeah, make sure if you are worried about tour planning, don't. They have plenty of that. Now, one more point I want to make about these plazas is that they do have this super cool double-decker bus that will give you a tour of the city, and you can book it for 2 hours, 4 hours, etc. But I found, this was just an interesting thing, in Arequipa, it was better organized. The tour buses actually booked ahead, they gave you a seat number, a time, etc. But in Cusco, the bus would just circle the plaza, and people would get on and pay, and then when it was full, they would take off and do the tour. So, not a big deal, but, interesting. All right, so let's see what else to say about this. So those are the main global thoughts about planning your vacation. Number one, what time of season, if you can plan the off season, better. Number two, the elevation. Consider getting some acetylsolamide to get used to the elevation, not have side effects, or staying at lower altitude cities and working your way up. Number two, that was number two. Number three, staying by the plaza. Number four, the tours, and also the buses. And I think that's the big global picture I wanted to give you guys about Machu Picchu. Now let's talk more in detail about Machu Picchu itself, getting there. So there is a very specific way of getting to Machu Picchu. So, in getting there, I hope that by now you have bought your tickets before getting there. You don't want to, especially if it's in the it's in the peak season, you want to make sure you already bought your train tickets before you get there. So, just to go through the big picture, and let me put up this map here. The big picture is that you will arrive in the airport, take a taxi all the way to Ollantaytambo, and then from there, take a train to Machu Picchu, or from Ollantaytambo you can do the Inca Trail in a couple of ways. So that is pretty much the way that this will happen. There's no other way to get to Machu Picchu except through the train from Ollantaytambo or through the Inca Trail. There's no roads going up there, nothing like that. So essentially the big picture once again is flying into Cusco, which the airport is right by Cusco, right south of Cusco. And so you'll drive through Cusco to Ollantaytambo, and from there hop on a train that will take you all the way to Machu Picchu, or from there you have organized the Inca Trail, etc. So the way this works. So now book your ticket, your plane ticket, and let's say you land just in the airport. So from there, this place is a well-oiled machine. Everybody that comes here pretty much is coming to see Machu Picchu. And so everybody knows that, and so everything is geared towards that. Now the tour, so from the airport to Ollantaytambo, you will take a taxi. Now this taxi might take about 2 hours in order to get there. So this will help you plan your landing time and then how much time you will need to make sure you get to Ollantaytambo. So let's go through some of those details. Now, if you purchase your train ticket ahead of time, you will actually need to go to a train station and print your ticket so that when you get to Ollantaytambo, you can get on the train. So yes, you can go to Ollantaytambo, print your train ticket there, but something we learned from our taxi driver, which was very helpful, is that a lot of these towns, and we experienced that in Machu Picchu, a lot of these towns will lose electricity. They will go out of power. So when they go out of power, there's no way to print tickets, etc. So it makes a big mess as far as printing your ticket, confirming your ticket, paying for your ticket with a credit card, etc., etc. So the advice that you should definitely follow is land in the airport, take a taxi, and make your taxi stop at Cusco, because at Cusco you will have the train station headquarters, the offices, if you will, so you can print your ticket there, and then once you have that in hand, have the taxi drive you the rest of the way to Ollantaytambo. So that will be the best way to do it, so that you don't so you guaranteed no headaches. Cusco is a big city, so it will not lose electricity. The other ones, anything beyond that, you are risking losing electricity, not printing your ticket, etc., etc. So this by far is a take-home point for you guys to make sure you don't run into any headaches about tickets. Purchase them ahead of time, land in the airport, know that you have at least 2 hours of travel between Cusco and Ollantaytambo, and to print your tickets in Cusco. So knowing that, give yourself enough time. Now the other thing is, this map here that I'm showing you is actually the map of our taxi driver that took us from Cusco to Ollantaytambo, etc. And so if you can see here, there's all these little pictures on the top and the bottom of all the local attraction sites. So if you're in a bind and you're landing there, and then you have a train to catch, make sure you tell your taxi driver, hey, look, just take us straight to Ollantaytambo, and then on the way back to Cusco, you might stop at some of these sites, because inevitably they will want to sell you staying in these or going to these different places along the way to Ollantaytambo. If you know that you have enough time, definitely stop at a different sites just to get some of those under your belt and see the different things. But if you are cutting it short, let's say you land and 3 hours later you have to be on the train, make sure you tell the taxi driver, hey, look, I just want a straight ride all the way to Ollantaytambo. So that's another point to make. You can always hit all these places once you're heading back to Cusco from Machu Picchu. Now, another thing to mention here is the trains. So let's get into detail about that. So they have three trains: the Peru Rail, the Inca Rail, and the Machu Picchu train. Now, I don't know anything about the Machu Picchu train, but the one you tend to see more on videos, etc., is the Peru Rail, that blue train. Now, the Inca Rail is a green train, and the color doesn't matter, but just to give you an idea of the difference here when you actually watch these videos, there are three types of trains, and the trains only travel from Ollantaytambo to Machu Picchu. All right, so that's why you can't take a train when you land from Cusco all the way to Machu Picchu. You used to, but our taxi driver said that was causing a lot of noise, a lot of traffic through Cusco, etc. And so essentially, there is a train that goes from Cusco to Ollantaytambo, but that is only for the locals and traveling to and from work, etc. So from a tourist point of view, you will need to catch the train in Ollantaytambo. That's why you need to take a taxi from Cusco to Ollantaytambo, because the trains leave from Ollantaytambo to go into Machu Picchu. All right. So now the Peru Rail, I know that the difference here. So the Peru Rail and the Inca Rail are the ones that I'm familiar with. And when we were looking to book these, we actually noticed that the Peru Rail was a little bit more finicky about luggage. So if you brought a piece of luggage, there was going to be an extra fee, and if you didn't report that ahead of time, there was more of a fee, something along those lines. So they seem to be a little bit more picky about luggage, bringing luggage. The Inca Rail was not. You can just book your ticket and then bring your luggage on board. So we went with the Inca Rail when we were buying tickets, and they seemed to be a little bit cheaper as well. And the train was just fine. It was perfect just to travel there. So the train from Ollantaytambo to Machu Picchu will take about an hour and a half, depending on how many stops, etc. And so there you have it, guys. Now, the last thing I already mentioned briefly was that to get from Ollantaytambo to Machu Picchu, the trains is the only way, or the hike, the Inca Trail. So you have two trails that will take you there, the longer one up north and the shorter one on south, and they will all get you to Machu Picchu. We didn't do those because we didn't have enough time, but that would have been an amazing experience. So there you go, guys. So that is getting to Machu Picchu. So this map, if you want to print it and just kind of take a look at, it's really cool. All the things on the way back you can stop. On the way back, we actually stopped by Urubamba, Chinchero, all these other places where you can see the different things that you see online, the different sites, etc. So that gives you an idea of the places and how to get to Machu Picchu. Now, the one that you see a lot is this sexy woman I call it. This location down here, and that one is pretty close to Cusco. If you take a bus tour around Cusco, it'll actually take you there. So that is one that's really close by to Cusco. Anyway, so let's see, what else do I need to share with you guys? Anything? So that's it about getting to Machu Picchu. Now let's talk about Machu Picchu itself. So once you arrive at Machu Picchu, hopefully you have already also booked your hotel ahead of time so that you know that you have a place to stay. Otherwise, these hotels, there's not very many of them, and they do sell out fast. So if you're coming in the off season, still book it ahead of time. Now, you will see that there's a super fancy luxury sanctuary hotel that is mint. They charge a lot of money because they are located right at the entrance of Machu Picchu. And so, however, a couple of pluses and minuses to that. You actually want to plan to stay in Machu Picchu, in Aguascalientes, which is the town right next to Machu Picchu, the only town, for a couple, maybe 2 days. 2 days is a good amount of time to be there. Because the first day, you'll kind of just walk around, actually purchase your ticket to go up to Machu Picchu, and then purchase separately to a different location your bus ticket to go up to Machu Picchu. And the bus ticket currently in the end of 2014 was about $20 round trip per person. And I cannot remember maybe $80 to get into Machu Picchu. And then a little bit extra if you want to buy the ticket that takes you up to not Machu Picchu, but that other mountain called Huayna Picchu. So if you want to go all the way up to that second mountain, Huayna Picchu, that's a separate ticket, and you'll have to purchase that. However, there's a limited amount of those per day. So make sure that when you buy your ticket, you let them know. And they will let you know if they sold out of the Huayna Picchu combination. So in essence, what happens is the hotel at the very top is super expensive. But if you know that you're only going there to go to Machu Picchu and not to experience Aguascalientes, then this might be an option for you, financially speaking, if you can afford that as well, staying at Sanctuary Hotel right at the base, so that you have first access to Machu Picchu, and I think they let you in there after they close at night, something like that. So there's a couple of benefits in staying at this place if you know that your only goal is to go into Machu Picchu every day. Now, the other thing is, they might have, so Aguascalientes is at the bottom of the mountain, and it takes about 20 minutes for the bus to climb the mountain and get to the very entrance of Machu Picchu, and that is where Sanctuary Hotel is. All the other hotels are in Aguascalientes, the town, which is where the train drops you off. So once you arrive in the train, you will have to get your luggage, and there's people from the hotel waiting at the train drop-off. So keep this in mind. If you bring 5 bags of luggage, you will probably have to carry these bags all the way to your hotel. It's not super far, but it's far enough so that if you bring 5 bags, that's 5 bags that you have to carry. And so if you let your hotel know ahead of time, hey, look, I'm bringing 5 bags, they might have somebody there with a wheelie cart or something to help you. But in other words, travel light when you go to Machu Picchu, because you will have to walk. There's no motorized vehicles, there's no cars in Aguascalientes. It's a super small remote town in the mountains, which makes it really beautiful. But make sure you're thinking about these things, because you might get there with 5 bags and then carry them all the way to your hotel and sprain your arm, etc., etc. So one less thing to worry about, right? So now let's see here. Pick up your tickets in advance. I'm just trying to make sure I cover all the points. And remember, these small towns will lose power. I think half of the time we were in Aguascalientes, there was no power in the town. And so make sure that you bring a backup battery. If you're a computer person, you have your laptop, you have your iPad, your iPhone, etc., your GoPros. Make sure that you actually bring an fully charged external battery for these things. because otherwise you might risk getting to actual Aguascalientes at the base of Machu Picchu, wanting to take all these pictures and video and then having no battery power. So think about that. That will make a big difference. Let me see here. Guides. Let's talk about this. Now I'm going to put up this picture up here because I want to show you, I want to talk about guides. So when you get up to Machu Picchu with the bus, you're at the front of Machu Picchu, there's a bunch of people that have official shirts, etc. And these are guides. So you can rent a guide in your language that will give you a tour of Machu Picchu. Now this is cool because they know and they'll guide you around, they'll walk you around. However, Machu Picchu, at the entrance, they don't give you a map of Machu Picchu. Now, I guess I wasn't expecting it, but from how momentous this place is, I would imagine they would have a map. But if you sit and think about it, I guess they benefit in not having a map because then you're forced to rent a guide, I guess. So it's kind of a plus and minus. So the first day we were there, since we didn't have any map, they didn't give out any maps showing you where things are, etc. We got a guide so that the guide could take us around and show us where things were. And the second day we went up, then we didn't have a guide. We just walked around and took footage, etc. So the guides, you can arrange a price with the guides, and they will give you a 2-hour tour, a 4-hour tour, and they can even tour you all the way to Machu Picchu if you want to. But yeah, that's the issue with the guides. So one thing, the take-home message here is, I'm going to put a link up here for you guys to print up this map that I put up here. Now this map is one that I found online, and I wish I would have known that they don't give out maps and that I could have brought my own. Now here's the map. Now down here you see the Machu Picchu Aguascalientes, and then the bus trail, the road going all the way up there, the entrance to Machu Picchu. And so this is a really good map to bring because you can actually walk around yourself and check things off and say, oh, that's what that is. It's the city of the gate. It's the temple of the sun. And just explore, walk around, discover them by mistake, and just learn about Machu Picchu without a guide. And this will actually be, I don't know, fun just to walk around with your own map and checking things off. Make sure you see everything and you know where it was. So yeah, so that's another take-home message. So get a guide the first day, that's cool. Number 2, bring a map, and then follow along with the guide or by yourself. Either way, that would have saved me a lot of headache. Now the next thing is, no matter how healthy you are, if you're working out every day, if you're running marathons, make sure you come prepared. What I mean is, I ended up vomiting all over Machu Picchu because of a burger that I ended up having the day before. So make sure that, because I thought, hey, I'm going to do Machu Picchu, I'm super healthy, I can do whatever I want, but you never know what's going to sneak up on you. So make sure you come prepared and bring maybe a vomit bag, a plastic bag, any bag will do as long as there's no holes in it. So that, because inevitably things might happen no matter how fit you are where you might need a little bit of help. Luckily, our guide this was not the first time that somebody had vomited, so our guide gave me a little vomit bag that I used. So just an FYI point. Now another huge point that would have made a big difference is knowing about mosquitoes. Of course you know about mosquitoes, and of course the first day we went up there, we had long pants, long sleeves protecting against mosquitoes, but we didn't see any mosquitoes. Normally you're shushing them with your hand and they're in your face or in your ear or your eyeball, but there were no mosquitoes the first day. So we thought, all right, the second day we went up there, we took shorts and a short-sleeved shirt, and before you know it, we were itching all over. So apparently these mosquitoes are so small, they're smaller than a fruit fly, and they fly low to the ground and they'll get your legs. So make sure that you bring and you wear mosquito repellent and long sleeve pants, because these mosquitoes are like ninja mosquitoes. They'll bite you and then you won't know about it until later, and you won't see them. And I guarantee you, if you, that night after your first day in Machu Picchu, walk around the town, go to dinner, and you'll see all the tourists with their legs with these huge maybe 2 centimeter, 1 inch welts on their legs from the mosquitoes, because they bite, and you remember that, and they actually stay itchy for a week or more. I remember coming back home after the vacation, and a week later I still had these welts and I was itching. Not as bad, but just a point to remember to share with you guys. Mosquitoes. We're almost to the end here, guys. Sorry this is long, but I wanted to make sure you guys know about all this stuff to make sure you don't get into any situations that you don't have to. Now, the last thing I want to share with you guys is the exchange. Now, this was an interesting experience because I've traveled to different places in the world and I've never had trouble exchanging money. Maybe one time, but not a big deal that I remembered it. So essentially, the take-home message is this. Make sure that you go to your bank and you get money, or however, if you'd have American dollar bills or any dollar bills, I would imagine, make sure they're crisp. They don't have any tears along the edges. Because I actually thought I was doing the right thing, went to my bank here in the United States, said, give me a lot of $20 bills. They gave me money. I took it to Machu Picchu, or to Cusco even, the first town we encountered. And they were very meticulous about inspecting every dollar bill, every edge, and wherever there was even a small tear or a small mark, they would not want to exchange that dollar bill. And so if they did exchange a dollar bill, and I said, hey, look, this is all the cash that I have, I need this money, they would then bargain with you and say, well, because it has a small tear, I won't give you the 2.8 soles per dollar, but I'll give you 2 soles per dollar. And so it was really, really frustrating. I never do this, but I ended up using ATM machines because I ran out of half my cash was unexchangeable unless I wanted to bargain down to the 2 soles per dollar. So currently the $1 is 2.8 soles, and so that's the exchange rate that you'll see. Now the other thing is, once I started running out of options, I pulled out even crisp $1 bills, and these, they said, well, because it's just $1 bill, I can give you 2 soles. So the higher the bill, I guess the more worth, even though there's a set exchange rate. So that was really sneaky, guys. So make sure that whatever cash you bring that you want to exchange is super, super crisp, almost right off the press. No markings on it, no tears along the edges. If I had known this, it would have made a lot better experience for me. So I think that's it, guys. So make sure that you think ahead of time, use all these resources, print this map, plan your time to travel, where you're going to stay, your luggage, the trains, and yeah, I wish I had known all this logistical pursuit to Machu Picchu, but it's all fun. Once you get there, you're traveling, so it's going to take a little bit of forethought. Even the elevation comes into play for this vacation, so make sure you think about this ahead of time. Alright guys, make sure to check out my video on Machu Picchu and my minimal packing video as well. Alright, bye-bye.